First things first, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling okay.
Okay.
I love Amsterdam. I love it.
Okay, so good to be back.
Great to be back.
Okay.
We're kind of big here now. It was fun.
Always a good sign.
Always a good thing. Always a good thing.
The last time we spoke to you, you showed a lot of ambition and drive, which was 3 years ago. And then now, obviously, you have had a bit of success since then. So how do you look back at that first record and then the period straight after?
How do I perceive it?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I was kind of right. Not like I was right, but I was right to believe in what I believed in. I put a lot into this new record, and it's a different record.
Sure.
Because I think it's more concise and it's more believable. I think it has more of a voice because it happened over a short period of time. The first album was kind of something that was an amalgamation of years and stuff that I'd written when I was young, like 18, 19. Robbers, like I wrote when I was 19.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't see it as like a juvenile record, but I see it as a naive record, and that naivety has been replaced with a kind of sense of knowing on this record, like knowing who I am.
Is that naivety in terms of musical experience or
No.
personal?
I think I'm talking when I say that. I think sentimentally and lyrically. When will I resolve? Talking about all these negative things of my behaviour, but when will I change them? Will I this? Oh, can I be? Whereas the new record is, it's more about self-acceptance and cultivating that and being comfortable.
Was there a turning point then?
There was a turning point, but it was quite a big period of time. Like, we write music, that's what we do, for fun. If we have a night off or when we have spare time, that's what we do. So we've always done that. So we were writing a new record whilst we were on tour. But when we came off tour, we entered the period of making the new record. So the reality of that period of time presented itself, and it was a bit like, wow, we've got to do a lot. So there was a turning point from being like fearful about it to then just being really, stoic in our beliefs.
This fearful period, if we could call it that, was it to do because the first album did very well, number one in the UK? Was it to do with pressure?
Well, it was to do with that it was different. Like, the first album just happened. We made the first album behind closed doors. Nobody knew who we were. I'd never done it before. I didn't have all these things. They're not real until other people know them. You know, like if a tree falls, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Can you hear it?
Yeah, exactly. So all these things, they wouldn't be a style until people heard it. And then as soon as people heard it, I had a vocal style. I had a thing, and then I realized that when you approach your second album, you're like, well, we've got an identity now. And that conflicts or appears to conflict the purity of making music and why we did it. But we got scared and we got this and can I have it? George fucking went crazy, couldn't deal with. We had a really hard time creatively because we'd never had we'd never had a period in our life where it was like, okay, be creative now, do it good, be good at it. It's a hard thing to do. But then when we started getting like really, we were getting really like vitriolic. We were like, fuck it, come on, we're gonna do whatever. Kind of became this like huge creative bender, and we forgot about everything else. Okay. We totally forgot about everything, and we just made a record. Do you remember what song kind of started that off? The period? What had to happen was George had to get his confidence back as a producer. That was the main thing that was holding us back, because he'd lost all of his confidence. And then we got Love Me right in the demo, and he realized that he knew what he was doing again. And then it became titivation. That's quite a wordy word, but I mean it was a playful work. So it was fun. Right after that.
Well, what was it like for the other three, aside from George, in that period where he kind of lost his confidence?
It was hard because without George, without one of us, we're nothing.
Sure.
Like it really is a sum of all of its parts. The 1975, it doesn't work without one of them. So, well, I mean, I suppose it can do in certain contexts, but when it comes to like writing music and making a record, it starts with George. Like that's the start. Starts with one of George's. It starts with me saying we should do a song like this, having a song we love, George making his version of it, then me grabbing it, and then we just work on it, and then and the other guys that need to be there to have their feel into the record, and so it was hard.
And you say "Love Me" was then one of the early ones of the process?
Yeah, because "Love Me" came from live. Like we don't write songs live. Okay. We don't write songs together in a room playing, but we had to sound check every day for 2 years, so we would get bored of playing our own songs.
Sure.
And then that "Love Me" riff just was something we were jamming, and then it became one of the first songs for the new record. The first song we wrote for the new record was "This Must Be My Dream."
Okay. And well, with this Must Be My Dream and "Love Me," then do they kind of function as catalysts for what comes after?
I suppose they do. Well, I don't know, because we don't have a sound. So the way that we make music is that we fall in love with a piece of music, and then we're directly inspired by it, and it takes us to wherever we are. It's not like we like that, but we'll put it in our genre.
Sure.
So it doesn't really. There's a lot of gospel on the record. I suppose there's tendencies, particular kind of guitar riffs, gospel, or there's little things on that album that are tendencies and consistencies. But I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say whether they catalyze things.
And in terms of lyrics, then you mentioned the music. Does the music then drive what comes out lyrically?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. That's what happens. Okay. Music, then scatting. So, but like Chocolate was bing bong, and then it's funny because I can't say I'm prided on my lyrics, but that is one of the things that people like about my band. But they come through phonetics.
Okay.
So that I know the rhythm, and then I write the lyrics to match the rhythm. That's why a lot of them are so simple as well. Because it's easier to have a simple sentiment if you set up a melodic structure for it. And
it's not then that you beforehand have an idea of I want to talk about this, or?
Sometimes okay. Well, I know that there's things that I need to talk about, but I can facilitate that into a melody.
Sure.
Like a song, I'll hear the piece of music and it'll make me think of something, and I'll immediately be like, okay, this song is going to be about this. Then I write the melody, and it'll just be, when I'm singing along to it, it'll be nonsense words, and then one of the words will be good, and then I'll work on it from there.